Hi, beautiful people. Thank you very much for coming to our Awakening Summit. It is an amazing event where you can learn all about how to wake yourself up, of course, and how to learn about your life, yourself, Earth, past, present, and future, and all the other stuff what is very much interesting and might interest you also. My next guest is a wonderful lady, Jennifer Jacobs. Hello, Jennifer. Very
Hi,
good to
Jaja.
see you.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you very much. I give you the pleasure of saying few words about yourself and your journey. How did you arrive here? And where are you at the moment? We are very curious.
Um, well, how I arrived here. Well, I came through the canal of my mother's birth canal, and that was an interesting
Yeah.
that was an interesting passage back in the early 70s in Hawaii. Oh, what a different time that was. So really, I spent most of my childhood, uh, in this beautiful place called Maui, and um, I'm not going to, let me just say my childhood was not enjoyable. It was rough, like a lot of us. It was a constant learning lesson. It was me trying to always balance my parent stuff with my own soul journey. And so, you know, I used that later in life, but initially it was really tough and you don't understand, when you're young. And I could I could read my friends' minds as a teenager, and I didn't understand that was a gift. And it would always irritate my friends, and they would say, "Jennifer, stop doing that." And I said, "What? What's the big deal?" And then I would keep doing it, just to get a reaction because kids are kids. And that didn't teach me really anything about myself, because when you are young and you're struggling and you're in survival mode, you don't understand, much less connect to yourself on a soul level. So you don't see that that's a gift. Plus, that's something that needs to be nurtured, I believe, with, from our parents. And so that didn't happen. So I kind of just, went through life and, did my thing and left home very young and went out into the world and traveled and saw as much as I could and experienced as much as I could while I was very young. And as I got older, none of these things really appeared to me. I continued to struggle. So it wasn't until much later in life, my early 40s, that I discovered I had these gifts, that I connected with that. And it was through other traumatic events later in life that I won't, disclose now. But I thought, wow, I can do this stuff. You throw cards down and someone, you talk with someone, you connect with them, you look at the cards and you go, wow, this makes sense. And the person goes, wow, that makes sense. And yes, this is what's happening right now. And I thought, well, that's just too easy. You know what I'm saying? I taught myself with cards, but then as I went along, I started to realize that I had so much more to offer than just that, and was so much more powerful as a being. And so I started doing other things and experimenting with remote viewing and, clairvoyant type things. And then I got into the medical mediumship, which is something else I wasn't aware I could do, but this is part of the remote viewing, right? Helping people with their health without having to go through the testing and going to see a doctor, and just kind of tapping into that person. And that's basically what my concentration and focus is now, is helping people with their physical and spiritual health to get them on their path.
Fascinating, and I am smiling because I have never met anybody who could do that apart from myself and my students, because that's what I've been teaching to my students also. I have a philosophy of my own and a healing
Right.
method, and within this stuff, um, I actually taught my students to look at somebody just like that, or even through a telephone or whatever it is, you know, when you
Right.
connect to somebody and be able to tell what is wrong with them, mentally, emotionally, health-wise, physically, and even about their past lives and everything, you know. I mean,
Right.
they can just, you know, they tap onto somebody's energy,
Auric field.
and
Yep.
that's it, you know, that's it. And they
It
can
just rolls. It rolls from there. Yep.
anything. I mean, our healing is like that, you know. We
Right.
just
Right.
look at the body, spiritual, astral, whatever is available, you know, and just tell, and that's how he heals. So
Right.
I am so happy to meet somebody who can do this.
That's awesome. Yeah, you know, it wasn't always easy for me, but I mean, I think as we progress on our own healing path and we work through our own stuff, more and more opens up and we become more grounded and more able to do our work in more of a flow versus a struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I really want to help this person, but I can't because I'm mirroring them, you know, all of my stuff is coming up and their stuff is coming up and I can't help them. It's all a trigger for both of us, you know, that sort of thing. I was in that place where I was being triggered by other people, and it was difficult for me to help people if you're in that place. So you need to really get to a certain point of your own healing, your own, you know, wellness and self-care in order to be able to help other people and see in them what is in you, you know, through
yes,
that.
definitely. I mean, especially, you know, when it comes to it, when someone's life is connected to your work, you know, I mean, they say, okay, the doctor said I have to have this surgery because if I don't have it, I die. But I would rather come to you to heal me and do some work on me. And, you know, then you have the responsibility.
I cannot tell you how many clients I've had that say, oh, my doctor's saying I have to have gallbladder removed. Oh, I got to have this removed. And I look at them and I say, with this blank stare, you do realize you need all of your organs to be 100% healthy, right?
Yes.
You know, organs are kind of important to our body. We need those. We don't need them being harvested by the American Murder Association. You know what I'm saying? We need our organs. And if we can, you know, do liver cleanses and we can do these alternative modalities and prevent this from, you know, we have all the power within our own hands at our own disposal at home. Our body even creates the antibodies that we need to heal ourselves if we just know how to do it, if we just educate ourselves. And that's it.
Yes. I mean, it is very exciting. I just actually confirming everything what you said about you have to be in a good place yourself if you want to actually do this kind of healing, because otherwise you mess it up. And you have to be very strong and really decisive and, of course, you know, professional and responsible. So it's very
because there's a lot of people.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And also, of course, I teach tarot. So, you know, I do the clairvoyance. So it's very nice to meet somebody who does that too.
Well, we all are, you know, I believe we all have these abilities. You know, you teach, so you know that, you know, our gifts vary, of course, and we can kind of pick and choose what we want to concentrate and focus on. But I do believe we have a lot of abilities and gifts. And I don't really feel most people ever in their lifetime tap into just one thing they're good at and focus on that. And that's why it makes it difficult to be successful in this realm or any field, to be honest. It's finding that one thing and focusing on it and going forward, you know, with that one thing.
Anyway, I mean, come on, how can you do that? I mean, life is so beautiful and it is out there, you have to
Many
experience
facets, right?
it. Yes.
Yes, and if you're somebody that struggles with focus, it's especially as an intuitive, I think we tend to be kind of more, in
Yes.
the air and less on the ground. So it's like, oh, I can help you in 1 minute. Let me go finish what I'm doing over here. Wait, what was I doing? That sort of thing.
Yeah, it used to be in the past, but I don't do it any longer because I am very good with actually working on 2, 3 fields at the same time, and I am
Well, multitasking is not.
Yes, I am.
Multitasking doesn't work, really. I mean, I think people try to do it because of the world we live in, rush, 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 do this, do that, do everything at once. The problem with that is everything just goes to shit.
No, mine doesn't. No,
Yours doesn't? Well, I can't
do that. And I cannot even focus on one stuff.
I can't do 5 things, 4 things, 3 things at once. It's just, I prefer to focus on one thing at a time in order to give, especially with clients, they get my full attention and I'm not, somewhere else, which is also why
I mean, when I have a client, obviously I focus.
That's different. Yeah.
Different situation as such. But it's really fascinating to meet somebody like you.
Is it?
Okay.
Most people find that interesting. Oh, you can remotely view. Oh, you can read minds. Okay, well, what am I thinking? I get silly people like that. Oh, what am I thinking? And I'm like, next. It's not that simple. You know what I mean? It's never that simple. Oh, well, what's my name if you're so good? You know what I mean? What's grandfather's name that I'm thinking of? I get that all the time. And I just think that people don't really understand how complex the abilities are, and that the spirit world doesn't work like this.
Yeah, sure.
Sure,
yeah. Also about learning, of course, I teach and I do believe that we all have the knowledge. So there are no gifted people or chosen people for anything whatsoever. I think everybody has the capability of becoming healers or even remote healers. Or
absolutely
clairvoyant, or whatever we can talk about in the spiritual field. They just have to open up, of course.
Right.
And I also say that when we are teaching, we are not actually teaching anything that the person doesn't already know. We just open up folders in the subconscious, to actually.
Well, it's as they say, knowledge speaks, wisdom listens,
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So tell me, what do you think about human beings nowadays? Do you think they have some kind of health issues different from, let's say, 2 years back or 5 years back?
Absolutely. I think things are changing daily, and it's affecting humans on that frequency level that's, we're reabsorbing. You know what I'm saying? We're putting out, it's coming right back, because I just feel there's so much going on in the world that it's difficult, I think, for the average person to process, much less comprehend what this is, because we're still having to live our lives, right, and function. So I think a lot of people just don't have the capacity to grasp how large this is, how big it is. And I do see people being affected by this as well, in everyday life, not questioning things, the lack of critical thinking. And it's not necessarily what's going on with COVID. I think a lot of it is, people were this way before COVID. So COVID's just showing us what a person is doing and what their mind, where they're at in their mind, their state of mind, because of the agenda. So basically what I'm trying to say is someone that just puts a mask on and doesn't question and doesn't say, oh, I'm not going to shop there if you don't let me in without a mask. People that, there are a lot of people like that. And I think that's a tough one to address, because many of these people are very closed-minded and they're very set in their way of viewing and thinking about the world. And when you're closed-minded, it's difficult to reach people this way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, honestly, I'm not really sure how to reach people that know, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do this because this is for the betterment of humanity, without questioning if it really truly is or not. And I personally feel like I need to continue focusing on my own path, my own journey, my own healing. And I need to put more energy into that in order to be in the world again, because the world has gone a little crazy, a little mad, you know, being sensitive. And I'm out and about around people. I hear everyone's thoughts. It's all this jumble mumble. It's gotten worse, you know, to where I can't think straight. So a lot of what I've done is kind of, I've retreated a little more in order to preserve my own energy, because being out in the world is hard for me. I don't find it easy to be around this, to be out, you know. That wasn't your question, but you know,
It doesn't matter, because it is really.
I'm kind of getting away from what we're just, you know, I tend to do that, but it's hard for me. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to function myself some days. You know, I am human like everybody else. And I think that most of humanity right now are struggling, and not enough people are questioning. They're just in autopilot, trying to survive these forces,
Yes.
you know, these unknown forces that they can't really put a name to. Can't really identify, you know.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, well, of course, those forces are not unknown forces. They are unknown only to people who don't understand what is going on. And what you said about how to open people and how to be around people and how to see them developing or stepping on the path or on their path. Yes, it is very difficult. I think it is very difficult because they don't have any information. You see, knowledge cannot be given to somebody who has no information. You don't question because you don't have questions. You take everything as it is.
Right.
Because you don't have more information. You believe in
Right.
everything what is in front of you. So that is the biggest problem, actually, that people being, of course, brainwashed, obviously, but I am saying only people can be brainwashed who wants to be brainwashed. I mean, come on. You have to step out of it, and you have to actually look at your life, and then,
right, which requires a will. It requires a willingness to,
yes. But then
have something
There
different.
is no question. You understand?
I absolutely, yeah. It's a mindset, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a mindset. It's also, in my opinion, partially a soul thing. You know, regardless of our what we come from and what our belief, you know, our beliefs, and we all develop a set of beliefs as we get older. That does influence our mindset, of course, but it is a choice. to stay locked away or to question the narrative for something more and something better for us as human beings.
Yes, pretty obvious. It is very interesting how people not only do not understand, but they don't want to understand anything about their own structure as such, as a human being. I am saying that a human being is an amalgamate or amalgamation of the soul and the physical body.
Right.
Soul and the physical body cannot be separated. And I am sure of that, because when I look at something, whatever, that's how it works.
As long as you're sure. I believe you.
Well,
I do. I believe that. I believe that. I don't see how we could be separated.
And although many people are agreeing with me, but they cannot see that this one sentence, how this one sentence actually changes the history of humanity. You understand?
Right.
I mean, nobody really thinks about it. And I just say, we have to really delete everything about humanity up to now, the religions, everything whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Because nothing works and nothing is true.
It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
But actually this one sentence proves it. You understand?
I do.
Because up to now, nobody could prove it, that all a lie. We talk about it, yes, all a lie. And we say that, of course, we are taken by powerful people and powerful bodies and whatever. And of course, we have the New World Order, and we have this and we have that. And of course, and it is all true, but they are there because we let them be there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in the sense of it all being a lie, I more or less was just trying to say, it's not all a lie. I mean, our truth is our truth, right? And so how...
Definitely. I mean, but the truth is not nothing. I mean, everybody's truth is different.
Right. But yes, we did, going back a little to what you're saying, we did allow this as a species with the whole smartphones and the emojis and everything, that we went, oh, that's so cool. This can make my life so much easier. Let me just...
And it's not. Of course, now we have all the emotional and mental.
Now we have perspective, and we're going, what was I thinking? You know what I mean? No, we start questioning ourselves, because even myself, I wasn't aware of the whole deep state thing and all these ties. I had no clue about any of that, until 2019. I knew nothing of any of it, and then I went, wow, my eyes were opened. And then I thought, I can do my work better now. It all makes sense now.
Yes, of course. Yes, it is very interesting how people have to understand that they are actually
for sale.
Creatures who want companionship, and whatever it is. I mean, nowadays people say, okay, I want a dog rather than have a friend. But that is really bad, because you are actually limiting yourself to something that you control. And you cannot really have a conversation with a dog.
With a dog.
A dog is never going to dismiss your ideas or say anything back to you or stop you from talking or whatever it is, you know.
Or make you accountable for your thoughts and actions.
Yeah. I mean, as a companionship, in friendship, in romantic relationships, we have mirrors.
Yep.
Because the other person is mirroring our behavior and our understanding and everything else. So it is,
And in that is so many lessons, you know.
oh yeah. I mean, I call it the biggest playground of human lives, you know. Human,
Right.
and it could be family, romantic relationships, friendship, whatever it is. I mean, it is really the same structure as such.
Well, it's our choice. It's pretty much every interaction in the world is an opportunity for learning and growth. You know, it's all how you view things.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Do you think people are affected by the universe?
Absolutely.
In what way?
Well, you're posing some very challenging questions. I don't ever probe my own mind like this, you know. Even in many ways, I'm kind of asleep a little bit. But
don't worry,
well,
just tell me whatever.
Well, we all have okay. When we're born, we are born under a sign, and the way the world is, or you know, basically what the planets are doing at the time of our birth affects us as human beings. So what the planets are doing now with what's going on in the world, with human beings doing what they are doing in this, what I consider to be evil, I feel that is affecting the energy of the planets, which then affect people and vice versa. That particular frequency, it's like this reverberation, you know what I'm saying? It's bouncing from us to the planets, to these people, and it's just kind of doing this kind of crazy, chaotic thing. That's what I feel. That's kind of what I see too. I see a lot of static and just confusion, even for myself, trying to pick this apart and decipher what's going on and how it's affecting me, even on a spiritual level.
Okay. So, let us get back to the planetary moves and all.
Well, there's an energetic component to the universe, to the planets. So, and I feel we're an extension of that.
Yes, it is absolutely.
So, I mean, in many ways. So, without going into too much detail about that, I think Mother Earth right now is sad and crying, really, because our planet is being destroyed by human beings on a physiological level, on a spiritual level, on every level imaginable. So, I feel it's our responsibility to take care of the planet and nature and all the creatures and the ecosystem and all that. So we have moved so far away from that as a species. It doesn't surprise me that things are kind of going awry the way they are, separate from the agenda. So, this agenda is making things obviously worse.
Yeah. I look at humanity as such, and I really think that humanity at large is a group of destroyer organic energy rather than a builder. I mean, if you look through
I can see that. Yeah.
Look through the history, even the building process is destroying whatever happens to the planet, or whatever happens to our lives. Humanity cannot really build without destroying something. And it is really interesting. So I don't think we can get to the situation when we are going to be in harmony with Earth, because we don't understand what it is.
And that's so hard. That's so hard for me, because I want that so bad. I mean, I just can sit outside and stare up at the stars and the moon and be content for hours. I'm that kind of person. I don't need constant interaction with other human beings as much as I love our species. It's not something that I require. I just want to connect to the cosmos and to the planet, because this is how we heal ourselves. This is how we connect to who we are on a soul level. That's my belief: to be grounded, get in nature, put your feet in the dirt, walk outside barefoot, take a picture of the moon, look at the moon, take a hike, whatever you have to do. This is how I feel we best connect to ourselves. And by doing this, I feel like we're best able to serve humanity.
Yes, in one way or another, but it is a quite utopistic idea what you've been just describing, because not every.
I know. Believe me, I know. Nobody thinks the way I do. I mean, I'm
not many people.
I can't help it. It's just who I am. I can't be any other way. It's what makes me feel good. And I feel like if we were all more focused on our own empowerment, our own self-healing, our own self-care routine, the world in general would be a better place.
Oh, definitely.
But we're just too external. We're too, materialistic. Buy this, buy that, buy some more stuff, buy, overconsume, overeat, yes. Stuff ourselves with food. You know what I'm saying? It's just out of hand, but we're not taught. So we need to be taught these things in school. We need to be taught these things from a young age. And that's what I believe, makes us who we are.
Yes, somehow people think they are superior if they have more money or material as such.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, I think money tends to be the root of most evil,
Definitely.
And that's what we're dealing with right now is a prime example of that.
Yes. I am a traveler. I've really been all over the planet. My favorite place is Africa, of course, because it's so natural, people are.
And I wanted to go, and I was planning a trip. When all of this started, and then I went, humans, because I was going to go. Africa was one of the places. I was going to go to Berlin because I have ancestors in Berlin. I was going to go to Amsterdam. I was going to see Italy, Spain. I was going to go do this big European vacation, not the Lampoon's vacation, right? But a real European vacation. And then I thought, okay, now I need to reevaluate everything and think about maybe just doing road trips and camping and go to states that are bordering my state and spend more time in nature there for now until, and that was just how I kind of had an intuitive sense. I don't want to deal with the politics of what's going on, the PCR testing and all of that. I'd like to just avoid all of that. So I'm just going to have to wait,
Yes, I've been sort of housebound for almost 2 years now because I.
Yep. So have I. Every little thing outside your front door is like this major adventure. Yes. Oh, where are we going today? I'm going to go 2 miles from home, and I'm going to take this amazing brisk walk, and I'm going to put my headphones and my iPod on, and I'm just going to get lost in the music and the visual stimulation. It becomes where I think we start to appreciate more where we are rather than having to get out and see everything that's so far away, even though that's lovely. And I think it's important to, do this for ourselves. Traveling and education, I think there's no greater tools for us as human beings. Travel, see the world, question things, educate yourself with
clever, because most people, they are on the road, they take the plane, they arrive, they go to the tourist hotel and whatever
Right.
it is, and they go on organized tours and God knows what, and that's it.
And I think that's limiting. I think we need to be, bring your camping stuff, get to the beach and just sleep on the beach with your sleeping bag. Put a tent out. If it's okay, if it's safe, do it. Like really stretch the limits of what is safe for you while traveling, so you can really experience and immerse yourself in that culture. Because I think you limit yourself when you do the packages, the hotel packages. You've got other people in control of your experience rather than, being immersed in the culture.
Yes.
On your own, on your own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But 20 years back, one could do it here in Europe, all over the place. But now the European Union
Not now. No.
anything whatsoever. And we have much more crime today than we had
Right.
years ago, when we could really camp on the seaside, and
Right.
nobody bothered us. And even if we didn't camp, we just lay down and that was it. And who cares? But
much more crime and less freedom. Yeah, it's really heartbreaking to me. It's at the root of what's destroying humanity.
You cannot sit down on a bench with a can of beer. You cannot. The food
Nope.
comes and it's disgusting. It's really bad here. In the European Union, it's really bad.
It is bad. Yes, I've been seeing a lot through my mind's eye. Separate, separate from this stuff, like what the news outlets are saying. I mean, you see what's going on in Australia too. That's a good insight. If that doesn't wake people up, I don't know what will.
Well, Australia has always been a sort of odd
right,
country,
politically.
Many reasons. They don't seem to grasp situations well. I very excited.
Right.
Who cares? Indians are very far away from everybody else, so that's why we don't really pay much attention to what they do, because they don't affect anybody. But
well, what doesn't affect our lifestyle as human beings, we don't we don't engage with, unless we're forced to, unless something forces us to open our eyes and see things from a different, in a different way. Because, as we get older, we become more set in our ways. Even though we have the ability to have perspective, we still become more set in our ways in our thinking.
Yes. So what do you think, what should people do to become awakened or more enlightened? What is the way for
I only know what works for me. And I believe spending more time with yourself, away from society, because we can only take in and process so much as human beings. This is my firm belief. We're not designed in a way where we can process more. We can all, right now, I think a lot of people are in stimulation. They're overstimulated, so they cannot process what's going on, much less comprehend it, or comprehend, much less process what's going on. So I think when you retreat, into your place, the way we're being forced to anyways, it gives us time for reflection, meditation, and all these things that help us to be more connected to ourselves and thus have something to offer the world. And really, that's it. I don't see any other way, and I don't see anything more. We can speak out. We can become involved in our communities. other like-minded people, you know, and I'm actually involved in a community here locally where we don't bring cell phones to the event. We don't have masks. Everyone is just there talking to each other face to face. We're bouncing ideas off of each other. We're all thinking in the same way about freedoms and creating our own community gardens and everything in the community so that we can take our power back, you know, and so that we are less dependent on government and more dependent on ourselves, which I believe this is an opportunity for us to get back to our roots and who we are as human beings. We give our power away far too much and far too easily to our officials. And so, you know, I believe just coming together with your community, people that are like-minded, have small little get-togethers and speak face to face like we used to, you know, feel the comfort of a hug, of a conversation, you know, because I really feel like we need to feel these things to heal ourselves, because people are not healing, obviously, in all of this. And the more you trudge forward and you throw your mask on, you go to the store, you buy all your groceries and huff around, you drive through town all crazy and stressed out, and you got all your groceries are all knocking around in the back there. If everything's a mess and falling over because you almost hit somebody because you're not thinking clear because you have a mask on and you're lacking oxygen to your brain. So I think we need to slow down and spend more time with ourselves and with people in our community in order to nurture ourselves in that way that is healing, so we can move forward through this.
Yes. What do you think about the masks? How long are we going to wear them?
What do you mean?
Well,
you have your hazmat suit, Jaja? Do you have your hazmat suit there?
the idea is, you see, I look at this pandemic from a very different point of view, and I am thinking that we are actually forced into certain situations here, and also wearing the mask is a force rather than anything else. And in this way, we are in the hands of political bodies rather than anything else, you know. And I am wondering, what do you think? How long would it go on? This pandemic?
Well, you have a very different view than I do, because you're in a different world, right? And so I think we have, you know, here we can take our mask off and walk into a grocery store and still buy our food. I know that's not the case where you are.
No, and but I don't agree with it just because I have to do it.
Right, you don't have to agree with it to go along with it. That's my exact point that I was getting to. I think that more people need to take their mask off and speak up. I think that until that happens, this will continue. And I've been telling this people for a long time, if you don't like how it is, then do something about it. Collectively, we can make change, but as one individual, we can't, which is why I was saying, reaching out to community members, starting groups of people that are like-minded in their thinking, start speaking out and connecting with other people like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's important to do that, to question the narrative. Yeah. You can disagree with something, but if you don't question the narrative, what is your disagreement for? What is it all for? You know, you have to you can't just disagree right now. I think we're at a very crucial point where we have to speak out. We have to speak up and say our piece, and we have to show our disgust, and we have to show our, you know, what is the word? Our non-compliance by not just masking up. You know, even if it's going to threaten our way of life, we have to create a new world. We have to create new ways of doing, being, and thinking. And that's not going to happen if we continue to just go along with it. And you asked when I see this coming to an end. 2022 comes to mind. I would say mid 2022. Now this,
I thought actually.
I feel like things are going to, like this year is going to be the worst of it. Yeah. You know, for the For the next couple of months, we're going to see humanity at its absolute worst.
Yes,
But I do feel there's going to be some sunshine coming out in 2022, even as early as spring, as people start to wake up and start to question everything.
But in one way or another, it is quite too late, you know, because of all the vaccination and everything, and people are very...
Yes, it is too late for people that have been vaccinated, depending on which vaccination you've received. I do believe 2 are worse than 2 others. The J&J and the AstraZeneca are not as bad as the Moderna and the Pfizer, but you know,
but they are all very bad, I mean.
It's all poison. Yeah. So, you know, we are going to lose a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I've been telling everybody, if you have money, then please create funeral parlor, you know, because you can arrange
lots of bodies, yes, lots of bodies. And the hospital is the worst place to be, folks. If you get sick or a cough, do not go to the hospital. You will never leave. The chances of you leaving that hospital are slim to none.
Yes, that's true.
You won't catch me in a hospital dead unless somebody put my body there and I already died. That's the only way you'll find me there.
Oh, well, what can we do? That's life anyhow. But I really think it is a good idea, you know, because now it is the mask, something. It could be something else, but
it's always going to be something. There's going to be a new variant. There's going to be a new, you know, whatever. And it starts with the U.S. administration. You know, Europe's following suit, just like all the governors in select states of the U.S. It's this mass hypnosis, you know, this mass hypnosis and genocide and everything. And so people need to, you know, get up and make some tea and sit down and meditate, start thinking about what they're doing. What is your purpose here? It's not just to collect a paycheck and stuff your face and you know, do your mundane routine. Those days are over.
Yes. I think it forces people to actually see that they have to get up and say what they think, you know, because for many years nowadays we allowed even politicians to come on board, you know, and do whatever they wish.
Correct. It's time to participate in the world, folks. It's time to take an active role in society, and it starts in your own backyard. You know, start small, baby steps, and then move your way up.
I mean, I just look at the UK. UK used to be a really democratic country, very good, you know, and absolutely delightful country in this way.
Not so much anymore. No. I feel bad for people that are in the EU right now. I get it. Just
it's a difference.
I get.
I mean,
yeah,
you know, EU is just a dictatorship, the worst one. I mean, the UK is a dictatorship, but sort of quite docile, you know, if you want to compare it. UK is it's a mess.
Yeah, freedom is I think people take their freedoms for granted. You know, we've all taken our freedoms for granted, and so now here we are.
I think the only freedom human beings have is the freedom of thoughts. Because physical freedom is impossible.
Yes, truth. That's very true. What we think.
Yeah, that's the point, but people don't understand because they still think about physical freedom as such, you know, and actually they get used to a smaller freedom, or a less freedom all the time, you
Right.
know.
Well, yeah, we become
Power comes in.
lazy. I think in many ways we're lazy, you know, we allow the laziness to kind of take over our being, and then we become subjected to somebody else's, you know,
Yeah.
structure of how they want human beings to now be in the world,
Because
you know.
they
So
still have some life elixir in them, you know. I think people are lazy because they just succumb to this floating existence that is not really living.
well, a lot of that too is people locked into their trauma, right? When you're locked into your trauma, it is so easy to stay in this place. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have support in your life, if you haven't been able to work through your stuff, it makes it a lot more difficult too, you know, to be in the world and to see what's going on.
But on the other hand, you see, why do you have all that trauma in your life? Why? Because you are not capable of dealing with situations, what is in front of you, and you are not capable of taking your own life over the obstacles. Most of the time, you yourself put ahead of yourself. You know,
That takes incredible strength, Jaja, and not everybody has that, right? So that's the whole thing, what we're conditioned to, what we're conditioned with. And if we don't feel supported by life, by the universe, which starts with people, we need connection to feel that support. And then we can kind of move on to feeling supported by the universe and manifesting what we want, what we need. But I think we need each other as human beings. And it's all independent, of course. It depends on the person. If somebody grew up being nurtured and having parents, then obviously their coping skills are going to be different than what somebody who didn't have that.
yeah,
is, you
probably
know.
that's it. Because I haven't had a fascinating family life as such, but I am teaching actually to everybody to distance themselves from the family as such. Not,
Yes.
you understand, because you have to rely upon yourself. You have to understand
Self. Yep.
that you
Yep.
cannot be free if you still rely upon your mother, father, sister,
Father. Yep.
brother,
Right.
because you cannot follow your own thoughts. You cannot follow
Right.
your own desire. You always, even if you think of yourself as some kind of independent person, you would always have a thought in the back of your mind that, okay, what my mother would say if I do that. You understand? And it is not good enough. You have to be responsible for your own deeds and your own life. And I don't think life put anything in front of you cannot handle.
Handle. Right. Right.
So
Again, your thoughts. So,
you know,
yeah.
I think we have to learn that yes, we are capable.
Right. And yes, I can handle this on my own. And yes, I can do this. Again, that's your lesson too, right? It's in there with your soul's lessons for itself. You know, how many times are you going to repeat the same cycle before you stop and you say, okay, yes, my mom and dad did this and that to me, but I am not merely an extension of my parents. I am my own being.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, even though a lot of people grow up believing they are because of dysfunctional codependent dynamics, you can step out of that. And yes, we are equipped. We are equipped to individually see things in our own, you know, have our own opinions, our own ideals, our own everything, independent of the world and of what we come from.
Well, if you don't have it, then the world would come back to the beginning, you know, because obviously your parents never learned anything by themselves because they are continuing what their parents were doing. And, you know, you are just sticking to the mud. And
right. We'd be going back to before Christ, yes.
It's just good in one way or another.
Right.
Well, it was very beautiful and delightful to talk to you.
Yes, it's been nice. It's been enjoyable.
And I think I am going to close up the conversation because
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to put it on YouTube. Otherwise,
Well, we have to be able to put it on YouTube. Very crucial.
there's something we really need.
You know how I feel.
Oh, I feel the same way. Don't worry about it.
Oh, trust me, I don't worry about anything.
I just have
Life's too short, right? You've got to reach that point where you just let go of worry, let go of fear, and just believe.
excellent. That's how it goes.
You know, believe in what you're doing. Believe that you're here for a purpose and that we're not just here to stress about everything, and everything will come together the way it's supposed to as long as we are on our path. And that's it.
Definitely. That is for sure. And I believe that too. So, Jennifer, very, very nice meeting you, my love.
You too.
Hope to have other conversations with you very soon.
That would be great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. See you, darling. Take good care.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.